West Michigan fruit growers get creative to combat a mid-April freeze. A warning for winter wheat growers. Watch for frost damage too. And FFA goes virtual for its 93rd state convention. I'm Janelle Brose, and this is Farm News 5.
Farm News 5 is brought to you by Ford.
Producers across Michigan this week scrambled to protect their crops from a mid-April freeze that threatened to damage everything from wheat fields to fruit trees. In West Michigan, Fred Rash at Green Tree Orchards used frost fans and set small fires throughout his orchards, hoping the heat would protect his apple and sweet cherry crops.
Now we're running Orchard Right wind machines that are towers that I think from tip to toe they're like 40 feet tall. They draw the inversion air, the warm air down and circulate, and then there's not much of inversion tonight, and so we're building fires to create more heat, and the wind machines will spin the warm air around 1 degree can make you and break you. So we're trying to gain every degree we possibly can.
Meanwhile, at nearby Homestead orchards, micro sprinklers were running in concert with frost fans throughout the week to protect the farm's valuable Honeycrisp crop.
The micro sprinklers that we're running right now are putting out about 40 gallons per minute per acre, and it's basically just trying to help lift the temperature, create a little microclimate in the lower canopy of the tree. So you got water coming out of wells that's around 50 degrees, and we're hoping that will help to bump up the low temperature that we're experiencing from the frost event here.
Growers won't know how successful their efforts have been for about another week or so.
So you really truly can't assess the damage until you experience warmer temperatures, and then the flowers, the pistils, start to change from that beautiful green color to ugly brown, and then black signifies death. So we need a warm up to then start assessing the damage. But from yesterday, which early Wednesday, we were colder, but not for as many hours as this morning. I've already heard of some spotty areas that they could tell that they'd already been affected by the cold temperatures. What we need now to ensure that we have good crop loads for all of our crops in Michigan and all of our growers is we need really excellent pollination weather. That means not high winds and temperatures 55 to 75 when those flowers open up and the bees are out doing what they need to do to ensure that we have maximum fruit set.
Coming up, fruit growers weren't the only ones trying to shake off the frost.
There's torque. Then there's 1,050 pound-feet of available best-in-class torque. There's towing. Then there's up to 37,000 pounds of available best-in-class towing. There's backing up a trailer. Then there's backing up with available class-exclusive Pro Trailer Backup Assist. In other words, there are trucks, and then there's the new Ford Super Duty, the most capable heavy-duty pickup truck ever built.
Wheat growers were also keeping a watchful eye on the mercury as it fell this week. The winter wheat crop in Michigan is 2 weeks ahead of schedule, and as the plant progresses in development, it becomes more susceptible to freeze injury.
In Michigan, at feet 6 or 7, we're at the early stages of jointing, and that can tolerate temperatures down to about 24 degrees Fahrenheit for a couple of hours. There are some places in Michigan that got a little bit below that temperature. So, there's a little bit of concern for some damage there. For us here, I think there'll be some minor damage, probably some leaf tip burn and things like that, but I don't suspect that we're going to have widespread significant yield reduction. At this point, it's really too early to do any kind of scouting. You need to wait, 5 to 7 days before the damage will really show up. I do expect to see some leaf tip burn in terms of damage in some of the areas that got down below 24 degrees. Feel free to contact me. I'd be happy to go out and walk the field and check with them. But one of the diagnostic tools is to grab the stem and take a sharp knife and slice it open and look for that developing head in there. It'll be just above the uppermost node. And so they need to slice that stem open there, look at that head and make sure it is turgid and green. What happens with frost is the ice or the water in the extracellular space freezes, and then that ice causes a cell wall to puncture and it becomes leaky. And so you need to look for that in the fields.
Pennington asked growers to report any damage to help track where in the state there are problems. Up next, Rebuild Rural wants small-town America to have a seat at the table when it comes to an infrastructure plan.
At Farm Bureau Insurance, the experience you get with our local trusted advisors is different. From financial security to a helping hand, Farm Bureau understands the experience matters. Find an agent who can protect what matters to you.
A coalition of some 250 food and agriculture groups, which include American Farm Bureau Federation and Michigan Farm Bureau, called on the Biden administration and Congress to ensure rural America gets a slice of the infrastructure pie. The Rebuild Rural Coalition called the president's infrastructure plan a good starting point and urged lawmakers on both sides of the aisle to work together on the plan. FFA members spent this past week seeking to serve during the 93rd Annual State Convention, which, for the first time ever, took place virtually. The convention featured skits to lighten the mood of a year spent in front of a screen instead of meeting in person, the election of officers, and the annual Star Awards. We'll have a full recap of the convention next week. For more news and videos, visit MichiganFarmNews.com or the Michigan Farm Bureau channel on YouTube. With Farm News 5, I'm Janelle Brose. Have a great week of farming.